The members of Congress are either afraid of what the NSA knows about them, or they want to give the impression to the American public that they're doing something, and the something that they're doing to keep us safe is spying on us.
Report says the NSA's collection of your phone records is illegal and doesn't really stop terrorism anyway. So now what? The independent watchdog group urging the spy agency to stop collecting phone data on hundreds of millions of Americans and get rid of the massive inventory of call records. Chief Intelligence Correspondent Catherine Herridge is live for us in Washington. So a stinging rebuke, is it not, of what the president just said last week?
Well, it is, Gretchen. This report comes from a group called the Privacy and Civil Liberties Oversight Board, known here in Washington as the PCLOB. And they conclude that the collection of phone records is illegal and not effective. A short time ago, the White House spokesman saying the administration could not disagree more with the report. But during a series of questions, Jay Carney could not point to a specific plot where the phone records provided the primary lead.
This program, combined with the other programs and efforts that are undertaken as part of our signal intelligence collection, have had the effect of making Americans more safe, of disrupting potential terrorist plots against the United States and the American people, as well as our allies.
And this new NSA report concluded that this section of the Patriot Act 215, which was brought in after 9/11, it was never designed to justify this bulk collection of Americans' phone records, which is what we have with the NSA right now, Gretchen.
It's amazing how one person can make such a difference, and I'm talking about Edward Snowden. Well, we are getting a new snapshot on how Americans feel about the NSA disclosures. According to a new Fox News poll, 68% of registered voters say they're glad the spy agency's program was made public. 25% not happy about the leak. The poll asked voters to set aside how they feel about Snowden and his crime. It has a plus or minus 3% margin of error. For more on all of this, let's bring in Fox News senior judicial analyst, Judge Andrew Napolitano. Great to see you, Judge.
Oh, nice to be with you,
Welcome
Gretchen.
to The Real
Reminds
Story.
me of the old days at 6:15 in the morning.
Yeah, well, this is a little bit better time slot. Let's talk about what you think this says as far as a message, this new report that's come out. What kind of message does it send to the Obama administration?
This is the fourth official government examination of the NSA spying program since Edward Snowden's revelation. The first was by a federal judge who found it unconstitutional. The second was by another federal judge who found it constitutional. The third was by the Civil Liberties Board appointed by the president. The fourth was this one, the Privacy Board appointed by the president. They all agreed on one thing. There is no credible evidence that this program has kept us safer or has kept the bad people away from us.
Yeah, but they even went a step further because they called it illegal.
Well, this particular group called it illegal, that the president appointed. The Civil Liberties Board called it illegal. One of the two judges called it illegal, and one of the judges found it constitutional. So this tells me this will eventually make its way to the Supreme Court. This also tells me, the poll that you just showed, 68% of Americans are glad that Snowden revealed this. Americans are getting a little weary of it. It is really, really massive. How massive? The NSA captures 500,000 buddy lists a day, 600,000 address books a day, 200 million texts a day.
Wow.
Before we even get to the telephone calls.
So you believe that it's an unqualified embarrassment for the administration because now you have the president last week coming out with his so-called reforms, which both sides of the aisle didn't really see as doing that much. And what do you make of the politics behind the president coming out with his reforms and now this panel coming out after him, although he did discuss apparently with this panel?
Right before the president came out with his so-called reforms, and you know that I wrote in my column that they don't reform anything. Senator Bernie Sanders, the socialist from Vermont, wrote to the head of the NSA saying, "Are you spying on Congress?"
Right.
The answer was, you ready for this?
Yep.
Congress gets the same constitutional protections as the rest of the United States, which is to say none. In the real world, that would have triggered massive investigations and probably a cutback of the NSA's budget. This gets to your question. The members of Congress are either afraid of what the NSA knows about them, or they want to give the impression to the American public that they're doing something, and the something that they're doing to keep us safe is spying on us. Guess what? All four groups that have looked at this have said the spying doesn't keep us safe, or it gives us a false impression.
This is a direct quote from the report that just came out today. We have not identified a single instance involving a threat to the United States in which the telephone records program made a concrete difference in the outcome of a counterterrorism investigation.
The same thing was said by two federal judges who gave the NSA ample opportunity to demonstrate, how have you protected us by this spying? Is there any good that we can balance against all this invasion of privacy? They couldn't present any of the good.
So what will the president do?
I don't think the president will change anything, because the president is intent upon creating this image, a false image, an erroneous image, that he is protecting us and keeping us safe by spying on us. Guess what? He is doing to us what other governments did to their people, governments we fought against.
Given the unique power of the state, it is not enough for leaders to say, trust us, we won't abuse the data we collect. For history has too many examples when that trust has been breached.